Well, welcome, folks, to another edition of From the Heads podcast. This one's going to be, I think, Dave, my favorite one yet. And it's one of the things I always say that as a head of school, perhaps my greatest joy is having a public forum to say thank you to people. So we have some pretty special people here. We have what I've referred to as some unsung heroes, people that have said, oh, come on, Peter, don't put me in the spotlight. Well, they don't have a choice today. And that's Larry Wheeler, who's one of our truly remarkable people on campus, works not only with our intermediate school as a math tutor, he calls them his mathletes, but he's a super fan and probably the greatest cheerleader for St. Stephen's around. We have to his left, and I know you're just listening to it, but Debbie Persinger, who's our longtime registrar, but really does so much more. So I'll look forward to hearing her spotlight so many of the things that she does. And then to her left, John Stewart, who is our HVAC specialist. And so for those of you who know those times when our HVAC conked out, it wasn't John's fault that it conked out, but it sure was his talent that got us back up and running. So we all want to be friendly with John. So let's just jump right in if we can. And just tell us a little bit about how you came to St. Stephen's, Mr. Wheeler, and when did you come, and what do you particularly love about the school?
Well, thank you. I love St. Stephen's, as you know, and as background, I'm a retired mathematician, retiring after 24 years in the military, Air Force, and then another 15 years as a government civil servant, all as a mathematician. I moved permanently to Bradenton and became a member of Christ Church because I felt that I may have more to offer after my retirements. I asked Patrick Whalen if he thought that St. Stephen's might be able to use me as a little bit of assistance in mathematics, and Patrick was kind enough to set that in motion. Shortly thereafter, I interviewed with Mr. Hasbrook and Mrs. Wright, and everything just took off from there. This is my third year of tutoring sixth grade mathematics, and third of just joyful year.
Yes, indeed. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to meet Mr. Wheeler, he's like a celebrity on campus. When he walks through, all the students and all the adults just like a magnet come over. Debbie, how about you? Tell us your story. How did you come to St. Stephen's? When did you come? And even more importantly, what do you particularly treasure about the school?
Well, I started in the 97-98 school year. I was previously at a cardiology office working as a secretary with a nurse whose husband was a CFO at the time here. And I had just had my daughter. And so she wasn't quite a year old yet, and I was ready to go into a different type of environment and have time off with my kids. So I interviewed with Mr. Howard at the time, head master, and I started in February of 1998 as the front desk receptionist, and then Mrs. Judy Sutherland, who was the admissions director at that time, asked that I come on board with her, and I've been in that position ever since.
Wow.
And that was going on 28 years ago.
Wow. So Deborah lost to start when she was about 17, but that's a different story. John, tell us about you, because you've had quite the experience in your field, and we're certainly blessed to have you here.
So I knew these guys that work here. This was one of my accounts through Train, and I retired from Train. And it kept trying to get me over here, and I finally came over. And it's kind of like definitely an easier job for me for what I had before. And been there for years. Well, I retired military, Navy. That's where I learned my trade, hot HVAC, and I like it. I'm not really called quits yet.
Well, that's good. We're not ready to have you called quits, John. So thank you. And thanks for your service. As the son of 4 generations of service people, we just appreciate it. And it's just another example how important the military is in our community, not just in terms of safeguarding the country, but providing extraordinarily talented workforce members. So let me come back to you, Debbie, because you've been here the longest. You're the senior member of this group, and you could clearly do a lot of different things. You have any number of talents. What keeps you here?
Definitely my coworkers, the kids, the parents. I kind of feel like if you need to know something, you can ask me. If I don't know, I absolutely know who does. I love the atmosphere. Some of the kids that when I was started here are now parents of children that are here. So that's what keeps me here.
Yeah, and your point about if you don't know the answer, you'll find it more often than not. Not only do you know the answer, but you'll help expedite getting that to somebody who needs it. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate that. Larry, you've been here for 3 years. And again, like everybody else, you all have lifetime contracts, by the way. But what keeps you here?
Well, that's easy for me. It's pure love. And when I first came here, I thought I knew what love was. I had been married for 52 years. My wife passed away, and it was a wonderful marriage. But when I arrived at St. Stephen's, I broadened my perspective of love to I have a special love for every student, and they love me back, and it just warms my heart. Second, I love the faculty and staff at St. Stephen's. I think it's just amazing. As you say, when I walk across the campus, the students, the faculty, the staff, they all greet me with warm hearts. And I often say, when I arrive at St. Stephen's, I'm happy. When I leave at the end of the day, I'm ecstatic. I mean, it's a wonderful place. And then the third piece is I love the parents. When I get involved with the students as a math tutor, I ask if they would mind if I associated myself with some of their extracurricular activities. So I go to their basketball games or soccer games or whatever. And even outside St. Stephen's, I go watch their instruments at Sarasota Youth Orchestra, etc. And in doing that, I wanted the students to be able to see me as somebody that cares for them as a whole person, not just a math student. And it's been wonderful. But the opportunity to interact with the parents really warms my heart, and it helps me to be able to see inside that entire family structure so that I can structure my tutoring a little bit more tailored to what they like. So I attribute my love of St. Stephen's and their love back to me is just a wonderful experience.
Well, you certainly, as I said, you can hear, and those of you who are listening to the podcast, you can hear why he really is a pretty extraordinary person. I want to change gears here just a little bit. John, you have done so much good work in the short time that you've been here. Is there one project or something that you did that was particularly challenging, but of which you're especially proud?
There's been a couple. I would say probably getting the chiller on board just in the last couple weeks, getting that all finalized and all put together. Pretty proud of getting that together. I'm sure you guys are too.
Well, we're proud, but we're certainly thankful. And again, for those listening at home, we have some significant HVAC projects going on this summer. We're going to do a major chiller in the lower, intermediate, and lower school library, as well as the campus center. And we're also going to be replacing all of the HVAC work in the gymnasium. And so we're really thankful. You know, as I said earlier in the year, people are going to see or feel, in this case, some of the upgrades around campus that we've prioritized in some of our asset allocation. And John, you're right at the front edge of it, so thank you. One last question for all of you. whether it's a student or whether it's a parent or whether it's a prospective employee, lay some wisdom on us. What piece of advice might you give them, or just anything that you think would be them worth knowing if they're thinking about sending their child here, having a connection to the school, or even potentially being an employee. Debbie, you want to start?
Sure. My favorite thing that I hear is when our alum come back on campus during a break from college. They are ecstatic at how well they're doing in college because of the prep that they've had here. Their study skills, the one-on-one with the teachers. We have extraordinary teachers here. And they find it a smooth transition into college. They're not as, afraid as like I was when I started in college.
Yeah. And what a testament to you and to the culture here that they come back and visit you and tell you that.
All of that.
So you have all those interactions.
Yes.
John, how about you? A word of wisdom, or
I would say read all you can read, learn all you can learn.
yeah. Well, you've certainly done that and more. Larry, it's not an accident that you're last. A piece of wisdom or thought or perspective for a parent or a student or even an employee.
Well, my advice to any prospective student, parent, or employee is to simply schedule a visit. This place sells itself. You can't walk on campus, I don't care who you are, and not feel the love that I've talked about earlier. And the dedication to all the faculty is second to none. I happen to work with Christy Wright, and I think she is just A1 as far as a math instructor. I had a student ask me one time, am I a teacher? And I said, well, no, I'm a mathematician. Mrs. Wright is a professional educator and a teacher. And she does that to the best of her ability. I just can't say enough about this place. I could talk for hours, and many people have heard me about the wonderful place that St. Stephen is, and I'm so grateful just to be here and be able to help the student and faculty and staff of St. Stephen's.
Well, and we're so grateful for all three of you. And I think I found the one time where I'm going to strongly disagree with Mr. Wheeler, and that is he is a teacher. And in fact, all of the people who you just heard from are teachers. They just may not be teachers in the traditional classroom sense. Well, thank you, folks. We're delighted, and we're going to transition here in a moment to introduce you to some of our newest employees, all of whom are teachers as well, even though their titles may suggest otherwise. Wow, well, what a tremendous group of people we just heard from. And I'm excited to introduce you to three other people, two of whom are relatively new to St. Stephen's. One is not new, but is newly returned. And so with that, I want to introduce you briefly to Shelley Brooks, our new CFO, Cindy Addison, our new Director of Technology, and Sarah Sandberg, our middle and upper school learning support specialist. And Shelley, if you could just introduce yourself to the group and let them know a little bit more about your background.
Sure. Thank you for this opportunity. I am from Pinellas County, moved to Sarasota about 9 years ago, Sarasota Bradenton. My entire career, I've been a nonprofit accountant. Never been able to transition out of nonprofits. It's in my blood. Very happy to be here and at St. Stephen's. It's an exceptional campus, and everyone I've met has been wonderful.
Thanks, Shelley. Cindy?
Hi, thank you. I am Cindy Addison. I have been at St. Stephen's. I was at St. Stephen's for a very long time. I have 3 children who started in kindergarten and went all the way through, graduated from here. And so I have been at St. Stephen's as a mother of 3 children, as a teacher, as a parent, as every possible way you can probably be here. I then left for a couple of years ago, and I have been working for FCIS, which is the Florida Council of Independent Schools, an accrediting body of independent schools here in Florida, where I was the educational technology coordinator. I worked with the entire FCIS team. I learned a lot about accreditation and professional development and programming. I also learned a lot about the state of Florida and the Department of Education and teacher certification and FHSAA and all of those governing bodies at the rules and regulations regarding education in independent schools. But I missed St. Stephen's. St. Stephen's was, someone said, "You're coming home," when they found out I was coming back here. And it really did feel like coming home. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. And, again, there are people that just make communities better. All three of these young ladies do. And I'll have to say that the last is really exciting to me personally, just because of the work that you've done already, Sarah. So if you could introduce yourself.
No worries. Sarah Sandberg. I am originally from New York. That is where I was trained and went to school. I started out as a special education math teacher. I did that for 3 years before moving to Bradenton with my husband. He is born and bred in Key City, Florida. I worked at Payne Middle School. I taught students with varying exceptionalities for 1 year. That was 6th to 8th grade. Before transitioning to becoming the department chair and overseeing all of our students with special needs at King, and then at Manatee High School. And then this opportunity to work here at St. Stephen's kind of fell into my lap. Ashton Shire's husband worked with my husband, and she put a bug in his ear. And I'm really glad that she did.
Well, we're glad you're here. And Sarah, I want to stay with you. You've worked in a variety of capacities in public schools, both in Manatee and Florida and also in New York. What similarities do you see between those schools and St. Stephen's, and in what ways are they different?
Yeah, I think something that struck me at the same is there are students with varying needs no matter what kind of school you're at. There are kids who need to be pushed to excel further beyond what is expected, and then there are kids who need a little bit of extra support. That's everywhere. Something that was different, and Mr. Wheeler kind of talked about it earlier, is just the sense of community here at St. Stephen's at a smaller school. The class sizes are smaller. The teachers know their kids. There is this really strong sense of the teachers care about the students and the students care about the teachers, and an opportunity for teachers to know their students on a level that allows them to differentiate and approach students' needs in a different way.
That's great to hear. And I think what you're really talking about is our promise. Students are known and valued. And Cindy, you are universally described by your colleagues as a people person. And without being unfair or trading in stereotypes, director of technologies are not always viewed that way. I know you've talked a lot about why you think it's critically important for you to get out into the community and be seen that way. I'd love to just have you share a little bit more about that.
For me, fundamentally, above all else, people are more important than anything else. And so for me, technology is this wonderful, magical tool that helps people solve problems. It helps people make their work easier, or helps people be more productive, or helps children learn better in a different way, more. And it just has so many really wonderful opportunities that it's a tool, not unlike a shovel or a hammer, to be used in whatever way you need it to be used. And it's not the technology that is the important thing. It's the people that are the important thing. And so to learn who they are and what they need and what they want and what their goals are and what is it that they're trying to do and what is maybe holding them back or creating a challenge for them, that is critically important. And I don't know, that helps me know how to help them.
Yeah, well said. Shelley, your job is, of course, critically important, but it's also one that a lot of folks, even in independent schools or even St. Stephen's themselves, don't always really know what you do. So what does an independent school CFO do on a daily basis? Or I probably should say, what do you not do? But give us a little bit of a window into your day and what you work on.
Well, first, sometimes it's good that not everyone is aware of everything that I do, but really, it's just a jack of all trades on the business and running the organization. There's accounting, of course, and the finances, involved with the constructions, projects, facilities, as you heard John say about the chiller, risk management, human resources, insurances, you name it, anything that has to do with papers or documents. I'm there. It's all, I live and breathe it, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a lot.
And you have a long-standing career in nonprofit. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? And not necessarily going through every part of your resume, but just what kind of drew you to nonprofits and what have you taken away from that?
My very first job in the nonprofit sector was at a performing arts center in Clearwater. And there was such joy and creativity and collaboration with those whose minds are different than mine. They think differently. It just, the trials and tribulations of making sure your payroll, and just the teamwork on it. And ever since then, it's just where I belong. I wouldn't be able to work in a corporate environment where it's down, you're just paying attention to the bottom line. I mean, nonprofits, yes, you have to run it like a business and there is a bottom line, but you're not looking to make this extraordinary profit. You just want to be able to provide for your programs.
Yeah, that's right. No margin, no mission,
Mhm.
but not a driver for sure. Sarah, as the parent myself of a student who is neuroatypical, I know from firsthand experience some of the challenges that can present when you have a student with a different learning profile, but also some of the extraordinary gifts that those same students have. So this is a possibly difficult question to summarize too quickly, but I'll ask it anyway. For those parents that are listening to this and are either know that their child might fit into one of those categories or suspect it, how can you help? Well, how do they navigate that?
Sure. Yeah, I think just the first thing is, yeah, there's nothing wrong with being different. Would the world be really boring if we were all exactly the same and learning the same and did things the same way? I think something that is crucial is, as much as is appropriate and possible, is involving students in figuring out what those things are. What do they need? How do they learn differently? What might they like? Something that I think would be a good idea, they might think is awful. We want to involve students so that they don't feel like we're just talking about them and making plans behind their back. We want them to know what's going on and be a part of it. We want open discussion between parents and myself and the students, teachers. We all want to collaborate and really be a team. And the goal is for students to feel successful academically, but then also as a whole person. And I think St. Stephen's does a really great job of that.
So my word partnership, whether that's between you and the student or you and the faculty member or you or the family. And I can tell you, because I've seen it firsthand, you're exceptional at that. Same question to two of our other folks with us, both Cindy and Shelley. What are you working on right now? What does the summer hold for you? You don't have to go into extraordinary detail, but at least give us a little window into what are some of your priorities.
Well, right now, today is 1 week that I have been here. And so right now I'm trying to see as many people as possible before they go away for the summer. Find out as much as I can about what is the same, what is being done in the same way, and what is different, and whether those things are successful or need some tweaking. I'm trying to gather information, I guess I should say. So that's my right now job. And then for the summer, we will close out this year. We will prepare for the next year. We will tweak some things that need to be tweaked and get ourselves ready to go.
So people and systems.
People and systems, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
then probably in that order. Shelley?
I have to say the same thing. I've been here a bit over 2 months, dived right in. So I think this summer is a time for me to learn more about the systems and the processes and the people and who does what. Things will be a bit calmer so that we can actually take the time to do that and then figure out how I and my team can support what everyone has done, whether it be through some efficiencies or oh, we don't need to do that any longer, but really just take some time to take stock of what we can do.
Yeah, well said. Shelly and I have a joke. When we get to something, we always say, that's a capital S summer. Last question for all of you. When you're not working hard and really well here, what do you do for fun?
Sure, I can go first. I have 2 kids. They are 2 and 4. Cindy sees them running. We are neighbors, Cindy and I.
Yeah.
So Cindy gets to see them running up and down the street. Um, Pretty much just out watching the kids hit baseballs, practice their putts, reading lots of books. And then my favorite pastime is eating. So anytime I'm not cooking is a really good time.
Well, I don't cook, so I can't add that to my list. But quiet life. My pets are a big inspiration to me and my joy. And reading and just enjoying, just sitting. Sometimes. Mhm.
Oh goodness. I sing in my church choir. And I sing in another chamber choir. So I like to sing whenever I get the chance. Um, I have, uh, like I said, 3 children. I like to travel. I like to visit the ones that are away and spend time with the one that is here. I have 2 cats that love to snuggle, which is wonderful. And then I love to travel whenever I get the opportunity. So I would say those things.
Wonderful. Well, 3 Renaissance women here for sure. And just another example of the extraordinary people that we're blessed to have at St. Stephen's. So to all of you listening, thank you as always for really, really investing in our school and taking the time to listen and learn about such special people. Have a great week.